Alright folks, how are we doing? It's Shabash, it's the Ornaverse, and we are looking at celestial weapons and augmentations available from the Titans in, of course, the Towers of Olympia content. So let's start with celestial weaponry. Link to this spreadsheet, by the way, in the description. Thanks to Major for sorting this one out. You can check it in your own time. We're just going to go through it. And it's picked up a lot of information. So yeah, essentially celestial weapons, you can get tier 9 and tier 10 versions of these. Once you purchase a mold in the Titan's workshop, you can then build or assemble as many weapons of that type as you wish. There is a small cost associated with it, of course, and we can see tier 10 costs on the left here. Yeah, you're looking at about 150,000 tower shards to fully upgrade a celestial weapon, including crafting it. So celestial weapons, when you assemble it, they don't have any qualities. For example, they're not like normal weapons which can drop from broken to ornate. They are always just like celestial quality, let's call it. And similarly, you cannot level them up in a blacksmith and then master forge, demon forge, god forge. That doesn't work. You can only level them up in the Titan workshop to 20, and that's it, effectively finished. And yeah, of course, you pay tower shards to level them up in the workshop. Now, when you level them up, you get additional augmentation slots. And as we discussed in my general overview video of Towers of Olympia, celestial weapons, they can only be adorned with the augmentations that drop from Titans at the final floor of towers. You cannot put normal adornments in them. And likewise, the augments themselves, you cannot put them in normal weapons. You cannot like adorn them in an alchemist, for example. So celestial weapons and augmentations are only usable with each other. However, you can take augmentations out of the weapons in the blacksmith, in the smelter, as usual. Well, of course, there's always a cost associated with that. And yeah, you can check the additional information here. Essentially, at the moment, at least, the weapons will have 5 slots when fully upgraded to 20. I've seen some discussion they might adjust that in the future. So yeah, essentially you're going to pay a lot of tower shards to fully upgrade your celestial weapons. Let's sort this 1 second just so you can see. So we can look at the stats of the weapons. Okay, not the tier 9 weapons. Again, I probably wouldn't recommend tier 9 spending shards on tier 9 weapons anyway. It's a lot of shards that you may, by the time you get that many shards, you're likely on your way to tier 10 anyway. Unless you have like specifically want to become an absolute tier 9 monster, then yeah, go ahead and check out the weapons. Personally, I would probably look to upgrade my towers first if I was tier 9. So looking at celestial weapons then, these are the stats when fully upgraded to level 20 for the tier 10 weapons. And there's a good mix of stuff, including 2-hander weapons and then a mix of 1-handed weapons for each of the class styles, if you like, including a couple of ones that are both for Valhallan and Summoner, and also melee as one there. Otherwise, yeah, some class types are very specific indeed. So what you'll probably notice with all of these weapons is that relative to similar weapons at tier 10, the base stats are typically a little bit lower than what you would expect from sort of end game weapons, and that's kind of one of the points of this stuff, because it's really in the augmentations where additional power, additional usability come from. So you will have to kind of mix and match the weapons with the celestial augments themselves. Although saying that, the Valhallan and the Summoner, they get additional follower and summon stats with them. The ward on a lot of the weapons is actually pretty decent, especially for the one-handed axe for the warrior type. And there is some interesting dexterity on the thief weapons. This is actually a significant amount of dexterity at the moment, and there is some crit and stuff in there. But really, we're going to look at the augmentations to see where you can take a basic celestial weapon and turn it into a machine really. So we're just going to go through these, some additional information here, if you like. So basically, the augmentations drop only from the Titans on the final floor of towers. This much we know, and they work like a dormant slots, like a dormants, and most of them have some kind of stats. And if they are base stats, like health, mana, magic, attack, etc., these will be affected by quality. So long term, there are certain augments which you may wish to farm for higher quality versions of, and get more power that way. For example, ward is affected by quality. So you can see here the shoulders of Prometheus get 6 ward as a base on that augment, and if you get like an ornate, that can go up to 10-12%. So if you get 5 of those, you can get an extra 50% ward, for example, and stick that in your axe, celestial axe, and then all of a sudden you've got a one-handed weapon with like 110% ward, which is pretty significant, of course. So we'll go down them then, and we'll discuss where some of these bonus passives come into play. Not every augment has a bonus passive. Some do, some don't. And I think we're at the stage now where we can pretty much say where the majority of these are correct. Again, thanks to Major and the team. So going down, Spine of Prometheus. Basic stats, really. Nothing too crazy here. 60 attack is not too bad. 90 dexterity, not too bad. Plus 4% status resistance. So that is like plus 4% steadfast type. And the steadfast actually works additively. So that's why there's always it's always a plus there. And you want to stack these if you are going for like a status resistance build. It doesn't always go up to immunity, remember. Then we have the hands. So you get 45 attack, minus 90 resistance, 12% crit, but you also get a 20% crit damage multiplier, which is going to be pretty crazy. I think a lot of crit-based builds are going to be wanting to stack 5 of these in your weapon and see what the damage is going to be like. You will lose some initial penetration because your base attack is going to be lower. And to be honest, even magic-based builds may want to use these as well. So perhaps even worse for them, you don't get any magic at all. And crit is M2 multiplier. The damage multiplier comes after the damage attack versus defense or magic versus resistance part of the equation. So you will lose penetration compared to using, for example, high-end Morrigan weapons with very high base attack and magic. But that crit damage is surely going to be insane. 5 of those. Then we have the legs, which has a decent amount of health and mana. Dexterity, no bonus attached. Shoulders, kind of focused towards defense, high health, higher defense, but you lose magic and resistance, and you get that 6% ward there. That's the big thing. And remember, quality does affect ward on these. Feet has no base stats, but has 2% ward and 4% ward recovery per turn. And this is where the uniqueness is going to come into it. So 4% ward recovery per turn. Stack 5 of these in, and you get 20% ward recovery from just your weapon. So maybe potentially you may want to mix some shoulders and feet of Prometheus in the same weapon. For example, get you really high ward, get you decent ward recovery. It's an option there. The liver, bit of health, bit of mana, and potion recovery. I'm not sure how many people are actually going to use that. The arms, you get reduced health, magic, defense, and resistance quite significantly. You do, however, gain a bit of mana and high attack. 90 base attack is pretty high. No bonuses there though, so again, not sure how much use that will get. I mean, potentially you're looking at swashbuckler builds there. If you get high quality, that's maybe 150 odd attack and a lot of mana. Is that going to beat out Ferocious Bullseye? However, that's what you're competing with in that slot with the normal weapons. The heart, bit of health, lose a bit of defense, but you get plus 12% status resistance there, so 3 times higher than the spine. And if you're building perhaps Ashen Phoenix gear towards status resistance build, you might want to use the heart. Moving on to Themis Titan. The spine, again, pretty decent base stats on all of it. Actually, no bonus for Themis this time, however. It does have a focus on defense and resistance. 1 ward as well, so high quality version of these actually could be all right if you don't know what to do with anything. Hands, bit of attack, bit of magic. Then also has experience, orange, and gold bonus. Does increase with quality, I think, but regardless, I think the stats are it will never really go above using, for example, questing weapons or weapons that are already, the meta for pure farming. It's more in there as like an option, additional extra, if you like. Legs, 4% ward, minus 300 foresight. Well, if you want to go last in party play, here you go. Shoulders, tiny bit of attack and magic, decent defense and resistance, but this one plus 30% holy damage. So, if you're wondering what the hell is holy damage, why holy damage? Well, at the moment, this is mainly used for Ultima. It increases your Ultima damage, which uses, of course, all of the elements. Outside of that, I don't know if anybody's actually doing specifically holy damage builds, and they're getting used outside doing Ultima. Remember, you can dual wield celestial weapons with normal weapons, so you might want to pair this up with a weapon full of Killis Souls, I think, or Rada Souls, one of them that does increases your holy damage as well. And get even more multipliers on that, so that's definitely going to be really well used. The feat, 200 HP, and you get increased damage reduction while defending. So a pretty interesting one there. No ward on that. Maybe I would have expected a bit of ward. Kind of ties into the damage reduction theme. Lungs, ward only, 3% ward, and you get one ward turn plus 1% ward recovery per turn. Starting off the battle with 1 ward turn can be useful, but that 1% ward recovery compared to the feat of Prometheus, it's a little bit low. It could be useful in maybe towers when you are starting off battles. You need that ward really to start off battles, becomes important. Arms of Themis, really high attack, 135 attack, pretty crazy, but you lose a lot of dexterity, a little bit of crit. So that looks like the highest attack based at the moment. Heart of Themis, nothing except 3% ward again. And this time you get ward damage conversion to HP and mana. So 3% of the damage received onto your ward will get converted to HP and mana. Interesting. Will stack with other types of similar effects, like the Rada gear. Oceanus then, the spine. Again, this is just base stats. Not 100% sure if there's actually a bonus there. Maybe it's missing. Apologies if so. Hands, minus 100 HP, 400 mana. Pretty interesting. Nice resistance, a little bit of dexterity. So if you're short on mana, remember, if this is like a high ornate, this is going to give you over 700 mana in one augment slot, which is pretty crazy. Fluke of Oceanus, minus 135 magic. That's pretty ridiculous. And you get 5% ward, but you get a luck bonus. Yeah, that seems really random. Really random. Shoulders, 30 defense, a lot of negative resistance, and 6% ward. That has a lot of negative resistance just to get 6% ward when you could get... Okay, I guess this shoulders one up here, you do lose magic, whereas Oceanus, it seems to be tied more into magic based. So, bit of a balancing act. Lungs, a little bit of magic, and quick cast chance. So remember, if you stack these, that chance will go higher and higher. Should pair up nicely with sequencer or even non-sequencer builds, actually. You will no longer be required to be sequencer for a chance to quick cast. Of course, there is the Amity there, but it'll go up to like 4%, I think, chance to quick cast. And then, actually, I'm not sure if there is an Amity for quick cast chance. Apologies, I'm thinking of double cast. Anyway, arms, 500 mana. Okay, I mean, look at these stats. Yeah. Interesting. I'm just looking at how these stats are distributed here. Like 20 dex, is that really worth anything? 90 resistance, is that really worth anything? 500 mana. Okay, interesting. Heart of Oceanus, a little bit of attack, a little bit of magic, a little bit of crit chance, and damage cap breakability. Increases your damage cap by 50%. Remember, damage cap is just under 10 million damage at the moment. I think if you've watched my videos before, you know my opinion on the damage cap. So we'll just move on. Eos. This is kind of summoner focused Titan. Similarly, basic stats on the spine. Also get +1 summon stats. Hands. Focused around magic, but you lose pretty significant defense and resistance there, and you lose ward as well. That's pretty tough negatives there, I think. Legs, minus 200 mana, minus attack, minus magic, but gaining defense and resistance, a bit of ward, and a 15% luck bonus as well. Yeah, the luck bonus just, don't know, seems a bit random. Health, shoulder, sorry, yeah, minus 250 HP. That is pretty brutal. A little bit of ward, and then increased summon protection chance. I'm not sure exactly what the number is. But yeah, reducing your ward, reducing your HP when you already start off with really low HP as summoner. Going to be interesting there. Feet of Eos, bit of defense, bit of resistance. Negative 100 foresight. But you do get increased quick cast for your summon skills. Similar to like Omega Rift Lock. Not sure exactly what the percentage is though. Lungs. Negative attack and magic, but you get plus summon stats. So this one is pretty good really if you are only focusing on your summon damage. You're not too worried about losing magic or attack. And you can stack 5 of these in. So really increasing your summons damage there. Arms of Eos, negative 60 defense and resistance, but you gain packed effectiveness to the tune of 20%, and that will stack. So I'm not sure exactly if that will come in, if you're doing blood pact for damage, if that will come in after the penetration part of the equation. I would guess yes, similarly to crit. But of course, that also affects your packs that can heal your summons as well. So I wonder if that will actually get used quite a lot by summoners. Heart of Eos, negative 200 HP, a little bit of defense, a little bit of resistance, but you also get significant summon stats, plus 12%. So losing health, probably a little bit more detrimental to your character than losing attack and magic compared to the lungs. But I wonder actually if you got like a broken heart as a quality, that 12% should remain the same, whereas the negative value there should increase towards 0 and actually be a bit better for you there. So that's interesting. Okay, Selene, finally. Spine of Selene, again, the base stats, and you get a little bit of follower stats. Hands, plus 90 attack and magic. And then what you get here is you get negative 10% follower stats. And then you get hybrid magic, or I think, yeah, hybrid magic, or basically a hybrid monster. So you get an increase there to hybrid monsters that will go with the Beowulf Hydrus, I think it is, that the focuses on hybrid play. I mean, 90 is pretty high for a base attack and magic for sure. Legs, plus 10% follower stats, a little bit of attack and magic. Actually, going back to the hands, yeah, it'll be interesting to see, for example, if you really go all in on hybrid play, and you have, for example, Arisen Fade Crowsong with really high attack and magic, compared that to a fully stacked Celestial Loot, is it? Or the whatever the hybrid weapon is, with stacks of these, basically what would actually give you overall higher attack and magic. Be interesting to see. Potentially dual wielding one of these and an Arisen Fade Crowsong might be the way to go. Shoulders, lose 200 health, a little bit of ward. Then it also gives you follower action rate and stats. Interesting. Feet gives you 400 HP, which is absolutely crazy. That's all it does. Lungs, you lose attack and magic, but you gain 8% follower action rate. Arms, a little bit of attack and magic, 1% crit, and probably gives you improved hybrid skill damage. Heart, bit of HP, 150 HP, bit of ward, and improved follower AI. And that's pretty much it. The rest of this is basically based on 200%, what that would look like for 200% ornate versions of each augment. But a link for this will be in the description if you want to go check it out in your own time. Let me know what you are planning to go for on your build. What's the first celestial weapon you are gunning for, and what augments are you chasing? Big thanks to the Arisen Orna Legends for supporting me on Patreon and Twitch. Without your support, of course, there would not be any Orna Legends content, Discord server, etc, etc. Big thanks as always, and big thanks to you for watching this video. I'm Shabash. We'll see you in the next one. Ciao.